Okay. Hi. Welcome to Sound Waves. I'm Demetrius,
I'm Colin.
and today we're going to be talking about something very timely, the Super Bowl halftime show.
And in our second segment, we will be talking about I Am Music, the new album by Atlanta rapper Playboi Carti.
Yep. With this halftime show, just to set it up, like we talked about last episode, Kendrick has had a banner year. Not only from his win with Drake, but the success of GNX and songs like Luther and TV Off, to his feature on SZA's new deluxe, and now to top it all off, he's performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. And to say there were expectations is to be a gross understatement.
Yeah, a lot of people were waiting for this. It was scheduled definitely around months ago, like at the beginning of
No,
the
it was
football
the beginning of
season.
September.
Yeah, September. It was a long time ago, but that was before anyone even knew that GNX was gonna come out, right?
Yeah, before Kendrick knew, because if I remember correctly, he recorded like half those songs after the Super Bowl was announced.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, he recorded song Peekaboo was recorded October 8th. GNX the song November 20th, the Wednesday before it came out.
Yeah. So he didn't know it was coming out, and so he already had the Super Bowl lineup before that hit album, and then just after the album came out, it just definitely it definitely made him a good candidate for the Super Bowl halftime.
Yeah, exactly. So now we fast forward to February, and all eyes are on Kendrick. He's done an Apple Music halftime interview, which doesn't really get to the heart of anything, but it gives us even more anticipation. Given that it is sponsored by Apple Music, we hear a lot from like their website and service about what's going to happen, like the lineup, etc. SZA gets interviewed and announced as a guest, which is very exciting if you know their career trajectories. And then we get to Sunday, February 9th, 2025.
And that halftime show, it was it had a lot of hype, obviously, and then when when it turned halftime, the Eagles were beating the Chiefs pretty badly,
Yeah.
but everyone was watching the halftime, and he, obviously, since he didn't know the album was gonna come out like when he announced Super Bowl, I guess a lot of that stuff he planned after he was announced. At
Yeah,
least
like
some
he
of
needed
it,
like hype
definitely.
music. And so it begins with famous actor Samuel L. Jackson playing this Uncle Sam kind of character and talking about this great American game. And then we cut to Kendrick on top of the GNX scene in his album cover for the album GNX, and he's performing this unreleased snippet that sounds really really good. It has these like beautiful strings in it, and then it has this like menacing bass in the background too. Um, and then after about a minute or so of that, you see all these people hopping out of this GNX car, like hundreds of people. It's like
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. I wonder that that underneath area where they are coming out. That must have been a very interesting area.
Yeah. And then following that, we cut to what was at first the biggest song off GNX, Squabble Up. Um, and it's like a pretty decent performance. I wouldn't say like it goes above and beyond. He cuts to like the second verse after the chorus, and then
Yeah, a lot of those songs he cut short. Obviously, all of his songs,
yeah,
like a bunch of the halftime performers do. But and then what do you do after?
I think it was like one of the songs from his 2017 album. So like I think Humble and DNA. That
Yeah,
was it, right? Yeah,
probably something around there.
yeah.
And then obviously, through it he teased "Not Like Us" like by
Oh,
like starting it and then like
stopping it, yeah,
yeah,
which I thought was like brilliant. And then he also called out Drake for trying to sue his label to stop Not Like Us from like
yeah, that
continuing to
was
be performed. And then from there he goes to the more like melodic R&B stuff in his catalog. And this is where he invites SZA.
yeah.
So Luther starts playing, which is as we speak the number one song in the country a month after the halftime show, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, he did Luther, and I definitely like SZA's performance. I think she did a good performance. I heard someone said that it might have not been her singing.
Or no, that it was like lip synced. I think it was actually her live. Like
You
she's a
think?
really really talented singer. I don't think she would have like faked out on a stage that big.
Well, I guess I mean probably someone will find out if it's real or
Yeah.
not
And then
years from now.
All the Stars was played.
All
Great
the
song,
stars,
beautiful. And then finally we get to Not Like Us.
and obviously he started the song and then stopped three times. Calling out Drake's label and then when he finally started the song, it did like a Pharrell four count.
Yeah.
That's like dun,
Yeah.
dun.
And he started like dancing around the stage, and then when he said Drake's name, he had the goofiest, most cartoonishly evil smile on his face.
That smile, I don't know, it was kind of corny.
If I were Drake, that would like haunt me for probably the rest of my life. And then from there he goes into Not Like Us, and then finally he segues into what is probably the most iconic song beyond that of the past year, TV Off. And not only does he do it, not only does he do the mustard,
I
third
def-
time.
I like the TVR performance more than Not Like Us performance. I like that he brought out Mustard, and a lot of people don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, like when I was watching the halftime show in like some of my classes, like people were like confused on like who that guy was, and I was surprised that no one knew who that was.
Yeah. So he does that, and then at the very end, he just walks off, and that's the end of the halftime show. And all in all, I thought it was pretty great.
Yeah, I thought it was a good halftime show. I'm surprised he didn't play. I honestly thought when he brought out Samuel L. Jackson that he was gonna play Leslie's Theory.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that would have been a good intro, for the halftime show. But I don't know if I mean, it's not like people wouldn't understand the song. I feel like most people didn't understand any of the songs if they don't follow Kendrick or rap music.
Yeah. And after the halftime show, Kendrick saw what is probably the biggest spike an artist has ever gotten from a halftime show in like the history of the Super Bowl. So Kendrick, the next week on the Hot 100, occupies the top 3 songs, with Not Like Us, a year-old song, returning to number 1. He gets 10 more songs, some of which are more than a decade old, to return on the chart. From there, his stadium tour that he announced about a month prior sells out entirely.
Did you get tickets for that?
I was trying to, but I just couldn't.
You couldn't
Yeah,
buy a reseller.
maybe. And then what else? And then he becomes the first rapper in history to get 100 million monthly listeners on Spotify.
That's an insane
Yeah,
feat.
peaking at 110 million and becoming the 4th biggest artist in the world on Spotify.
How many artists have achieved 100 million?
Only 10.
Only
it's
10.
Gaga, The Weeknd, Bruno Mars, Justin Bieber, him, Rihanna, Coldplay, and like 2 others. It's a very, very lucrative list. Not even Drake did it, even at his
Insane.
peak. Yeah, so the last month, Kendrick's been coasting on the success of that until last Friday, when a certain album by the name of I Am Music released.
And that album, he had 3 features technically.
Yep, 3 features.
Even though Mojo Jojo wasn't.
It was just ad libs, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but 2 real features and an ad lib feature. And his features, I feel like some people didn't like the one on Backdoor,
Yeah.
but I think his verse was good. And I mean, because Backdoor is an amazing song, no matter what. But
Yeah.
we'll get to that
Yeah.
in our second segment.
All right. So I guess
One thing I wanted to mention though is Drake talking about him wanting to perform at the World Cup.
yeah.
I personally think Drake. All right, first of all, the World Cup obviously they've never had like a halftime
Yeah.
show, nothing like that. And the who was it? Like the CEO of FIFA or something.
Yeah.
That him saying that. I think it would be really funny for Drake to perform because people say that Drake is an international artist.
Yeah, I mean
And-
he's doing like a sold out arena tour in Australia, so I mean you can't really deny that.
Yeah, so he is recognizable across, I mean, the globe that listens to Drake.
Yeah.
But I feel like that would be obviously that would be way bigger than the Super Bowl. But I don't know if I don't know how people would react to Drake
Yeah.
performing at the World Cup.
Cuz like I don't know, like I feel like in terms of like international hits he has, it's like Passion Fruit, God's Plan, and like a bunch of songs that I wouldn't say are like his best. And I feel like with Kendrick, the great thing about him is that like his best songs are some of the biggest.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's what we have for Kendrick. Currently he's the biggest rapper in the world and it's not even close. And when we come back, we'll be talking about Playboi Carti and the long-awaited album I Am the Music.
One more thing I want to mention though.
Yeah.
One thing about this halftime show that sadly came out is all of these new Kendrick shirts that we could be buying. One of
Yeah.
my friends said he might buy it for me for my birthday.
You owe me a shirt, so you should get me one.
Okay, I'll get you one. That those shirts. The shirt that says mustard.
Oh my god.
I feel like those shirts are. You just Google them, you'll find them definitely. Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl. I don't know. Meme
Should we really be
shirts.
plugging this? Is this like a good use of our platform
Yes,
at a
it is.
radio?
Yes, it is. Talking about Kendrick Lamar meme shirts. This is a great thing to do.
Yep. All right. So we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Soundwaves. We will be now talking about Playboi Carti's third studio album, technically titled Music, just Music. The fans, including myself and Demetrius, have been waiting 5 years, 4.5, 5 years for this, the studio album that is a giant album. It's not even, it doesn't have a deluxe, but is 30 songs, only an hour and 16 runtime for 30 songs, which is still shorter than a 90-minute Drake project. But it is a giant album with not that many different features, but definitely like a lot of features that like repeat.
Yeah.
Like definitely people have like multiple features on the album,
Mm.
and it is an album that is massive right now. I'm pretty sure it's selling 300K first week.
That's the projection. Yeah.
Yeah, projection 300K. So obviously, massive album, gonna be the one of the biggest of the year, probably, and one of the biggest of the decade for hype and popularity.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be the summer album of 2025.
Maybe. All right. Should I give my thoughts?
Yes.
Yeah. So Playboi Carti has been teasing this album for the past 3 years. So since his highly influential and groundbreaking album Whole Lotta Red, released in 2020, Carti initially teased a deluxe to that project, which never came out, then teased a project called Narcissist, which also never came out, until finally, in 2022, announcing the title of Music. And that title was not what was supposed to be this album. He ended up changing it in 2023 to I Am Music, and that began its rollout in 2023, alongside 5 different singles released onto Instagram Reels. These songs performed, in spite of not being on streaming platforms, very, very well. Like, the average person in our school probably knows at least half of those songs, right? Like, Evil Jordan, Hood by Air, 2024, Backrooms, all really, really big songs played in stadiums.
Yeah, different day, all those songs.
Yeah. And so this is like an opportune time to drop. He features on Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign's album Vultures on the #1 hit Carnival. He features on Future and Metro Boomin's album in March on the hit song Can't Say That. And
Yeah.
then he does a song with Camila Cabello that goes nowhere, and then he kind of goes into hiding. And it's like, what was that all for?
He did go on a very big feature run in 2024 though.
Yeah.
With obviously being on the Vultures for Vultures 1 and 2 with Ye technically. Ye, and then being on Metro Boomin's and Futures albums. And I think just he generated a lot of hype for this album.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been bigger if he dropped it in 2024.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because in 2023, I should say, the end of 23, Playboi Carti had 20 million monthly listeners on Spotify. And when the album came out, he had 53 million.
That is a big jump. But I think after all the features, he could have dropped it like in the fall of last year.
Oh, that would have been good, yeah.
Yeah,
No, because during the fall, he also restarted the rollout, announcing pre-orders and merch bundles, releasing the song All Red, which is like a fan favorite from the leaks. And then he went ghost again, outside of actually having one of the biggest songs of the year with The Weeknd on Timeless.
Yes. And if he dropped it right around when Timeless dropped, if like
October, yeah, like mid-October.
Yeah, that would have been massive. And as well as he could have put the song 2024 on. I don't think he like recognizes that song as the thing anymore.
Oh yeah, no. So then he goes into hiding again. He does a song with Lotto in January that goes nowhere.
I didn't even listen to
He
it.
performs at the Grammys with The Weeknd That wasn't really that talked about that much past the opening week. And then in late February, billboards from Spotify start teasing songs and titles and captions that some we've seen, some we haven't, in the font that Playboi Carti uses for a lot of his stuff. And then Spotify begins tagging him in their posts. And this drives up anticipation heavily.
Yeah, a lot of people got attention for it, and then surprisingly, he posted on X/Twitter
Yeah.
just announcing all caps Friday,
Yep.
and that got obviously a bunch of likes, like 300, 400K likes probably,
Yeah.
and then he made a few Instagram posts on both his alt and his main account on
Yeah.
Instagram, and then it was basically confirmed that he is going to drop Friday night, March 14th, I believe.
Yep, 2025. He had the bald British guy who announces all this stuff being like, new Carti album Friday. And then so we wait. Unfortunately, DJ Academics, who is a leech on hip hop culture,
And a very big liar.
yeah, begins spoiling all the features on the album before it comes out, which is infuriating for everybody.
Yeah, I don't know who asked him for that.
No, Cardi like played him songs and then like he just spoiled everything.
Was that from Carti's request?
No, I don't know. He was like, "Oh yeah, no, we're cool, we're cool. He's not gonna get mad at me." And then I don't think they've spoken since. So great job, guy. But yeah, so the album, initially supposed to come out at midnight, is teased to be 3 a.m. for
Now,
us.
it was supposed to be 12 a.m. EST, but they
Yeah.
didn't finish the album.
Yeah.
After 4 years, they did not finish the album.
Yep.
So they delayed it to 12 a.m. PST. I stayed up
And it didn't come
until
out.
12 a.m. PST, 3 a.m. And yeah, it still did not come out. And I remember watching Kai Cenat's stream being very mad. He was texting Cardi
Yeah.
and FaceTiming him. And yeah, Cardi was being very mysterious. And then finally at like
7:30 a.m.
7:30 a.m., the album dropped. And I woke up around 10 a.m. and just listened to the whole
Did
thing.
you see my text first, or was it like you just like saw it?
I just saw like a bunch of notifications and just assumed it dropped. Because it was the same thing with Vultures too. It just dropped in the morning, and I saw a bunch of notifications.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, I was like on the bus when it came out, and like immediately, I clicked on the link, and I started playing this huge, dense project with hidden features. So you had like no idea who was on what song. Actually, wait, that's a lie because he posted the track list with features like an hour before by mistake.
Yeah, by mistake.
No, he was. This is so stupid. So he was supposed to drop a track list with none of the features listed, but because he was like tired, he posted the one with all the features. And then on Kai Cenat's stream, he was like, "Name me a track list with all the features on it." And Kai Cenat was like, "You posted it with the features." He was like, "Oh my bad, I'm tired."
Yeah, he's a 30-year-old man with kids, and he's trying to be a nonchalant
And mysterious,
vampire. Yeah. So he posted all the tracks like an hour before, and then he obviously released the album, and it was hidden features on Spotify.
Yeah, for the first like day or so.
Yeah, and that's a thing that a lot of artists are doing now. They like hide the features for like the opening weekend,
Yeah, for the surprise.
and then they put the features.
Or no,
on.
it's not even like the opening weekend anymore. It's like the first 36 hours.
Yeah. And then, so this album, we'll start talking about the actual songs. Starts out with
Yeah.
a very interesting song that not many hip hop fans are used to, called "Pop Out."
Yeah. And Pop Out is probably one of my favorite songs on the album because
Same here.
it sounds to me like the death of music. And like, no, I know that sounds like really pretentious or dumb, but like,
It sounds like a vinyl that's being killed.
yeah, no, like it sounds so noisy and just like so like throwing all like good concepts of like melody and like just something sounding good out the window. That's kind of like admirable. It's kind of like one of the like what those old punk records from the 70s were doing, just like making it sound so like noisy and completely just out of whack.
Yeah, and that's actually personally one of my favorite like just beats on the album,
Yeah.
because it's different. It's not, and a lot of people don't like it,
Mm.
but I personally like it a lot, and like people say like this is the worst song. It's a song that people could say it's the worst song in the album, and then people say it could be top 5 on the album
Yeah, exactly.
easily.
And then we go to Crush, which is pretty much just like an extended intro. It's probably one of the more interesting songs I've heard because it starts off with this like very like southern synth tone, and then you all of a sudden you get this choir, and Travis Scott comes in for like 2 lines and an ad lib, and then kind of just like fades out. It's a very good song when it's on, but I wouldn't say it really does much for the track list. And
Yeah.
then we get
Um.
to some of the Instagram singles we
Yeah.
talked about earlier.
We could talk about some of the songs that we want to talk about some highlights.
Yeah,
A song I want to mention, Evil Jordan with the intro.
yeah,
The intro, I mean, it's not bad. It's just like it's like kind of cringe.
yeah. It is cringe because like it's just like the TikTok intro.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's not that bad. It's just like I also prefer. I wish he did the version with the guitar.
Yeah,
But I prefer the version with the guitar.
yeah, I do too.
Even though you can't really hear his words in that version, I mean, you can't make out his words anyway.
Yeah. And so from there you get Mojo Jojo with the Kendrick ad libs we talked about earlier. Decent song. And
Uh,
then after that, is that Philly that comes next, or
Yeah, Philly with Travis Scott.
yeah? And that song has like a really nice like southern western sample
I
in
like
it.
Travis's performance on that.
Yeah, like it sounds like a Astro World era song with like updated percussion and like an updated Carti feature from modern times.
Yeah. We could talk about there's a few songs after that. Radar.
Yeah,
which
produced by
is-
Metro Boomin. Pretty
yeah, it's a
good.
good song. Rather Lie, which is right now I think one of the most popular songs.
Yeah,
on
it's
the
Evil
album.
Jordan and that. That's like those are the two big hits.
I mean, it's a good song. I like it a lot, but I'm surprised it got as popular as it is right now.
I mean, it's like a weekend feature though. Like it's a bona fide pop hit.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and then I mean there were allegations that apparently Cardi might have used AI for it.
For that
which-
song and the following song,
Yeah, the following s-
fine.
Yeah. And then from there we get to Backdoor, which we talked about earlier. Decent song.
Yeah,
R&B.
Backdoor's a decent song.
Yeah.
I like Fine more.
Yeah.
I find it. I don't know. I find
I
the
don't-
beat more interesting,
yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. And then Janae Aiko's on Backdoor too, and
Yeah.
she provides like some nice vocals. And then what's the next song?
Toxic.
Oh, Toxic with Skepta. I love that song. Like the beat, it's only like one note played the entire time, but it's so menacing and it's like so reminiscent of the Dial-It era that like it really does make the
I
song.
don't know. I think it's too basic. The beat is too basic.
Yeah. I don't know.
In
I
my
like the hook
opinion.
too. Like the toxic and mash pit. Like that is so sticky. It's like really, really effective. And then from there it's Munyon, right?
The next song is Munyon, correct?
That wasn't that good.
Yeah, it's pretty forgettable. I mean, it's like most of these songs. I don't know if they're like bad. They're just kind of like forgettable and mid.
Yeah.
Like I could listen to it. I wouldn't be like so disgusted, but like I mean, it's like I won't go back to it too often.
Yeah. And then Crank, which is one of the funnier songs in the album.
Yeah, the beat is very good. I mean, I like
the beat?
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's just very different.
I mean, it is a very different beat. I don't know if it's for good reasons, but it's a very original beat.
Yeah, and then charge them hoes a fee.
Yeah, that song is it's a pretty tedious song, I would say. It goes on a bit long. Honestly, I would find it really good if Future didn't sound totally asleep on it. Like that's one of the worst Future features I've ever heard.
Yeah, his performance was definitely.
I thought it was bad. I
There's
thought it was really bad.
There's a lot of songs on this album that definitely could have been throwaway.
Yeah,
I
know-
feel
yeah.
like he just wanted 30 songs because like
Streams,
5 years and streams and all that.
Yeah,
But
and it's a shame because like I feel like when the beat changes up towards the midsection, it sounds super good, and I think Travis's feature is really nice. It just Future takes up so much of the first part of the song that it just makes it like unbearable to sit through.
yeah, and then Good Credit.
With Kendrick Lamar, I like that song a lot.
Yeah, Kendrick's feature it was good, but I mean, Evil Twin. That's a funny lyric, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's a good song. I like it. And one of my favorite songs, "I See You, Baby Boy." The beat on this song is amazing.
Yeah, the beat is beautiful.
And then Carti, I mean, his performances on this whole album, you can just. I mean, he definitely has better and worse performances, but I mean, I don't know how much they range
Yeah,
from good to worse. I mean, it's just either deep voice or baby voice, and then just
yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there is Wake Up Filthy with Travis Scott. This was like a leak from around 2022. and it has this crazy Benny X and Filthy beat, and I think it sounds great. Like the strings on the song are so good.
Yeah, and then we get to Jump In with Lil Uzi Vert.
Yeah, these Uzi features kind of like this was the return of Carti and Uzi after 7 years, and
I
honestly, it was
feel
kind
like,
of disappointing.
I
Yeah,
mean, Uzi's feature was okay. I feel like the beat could have definitely been more. Maybe bring
Yeah.
Molly Raw or something.
Yeah.
If Molly Raw even is still like
producing.
yeah, I haven't heard that guy's name in a very long time.
Yeah,
It was just a like a. I feel like that could have been a Cardi solo song near the end of the album that was just pretty forgettable.
yeah, and then we get to
Trim.
with feature, which I would say has the better feature that he gives. Then we get to Nose, which I think is probably one of the best songs here, if not the best. I think the guitar is crazy on this song.
This song did not hit for me at first, but it did grow on me a bit. I wouldn't call it one of my favorite songs, but it's definitely a more aggressive song like Pop Out.
Yeah. And then we get to We Need All the Vibes with Young Thug and Ty Dolla $ign, which I think is kind of forgettable. I want to move on from that.
It's a fun song.
It's mediocre. And then we get
It's
to
a Young Thug song.
yeah.
That has a Cardi feature.
I think Olympian sounds really good. It sounds like a Dial-Lit era song, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, Olympian's my favorite song off the album.
Yeah.
I think the beat is amazing to that song. People are comparing it to Over and Long Time. I mean, it obviously has to grow on me, but that's probably gonna be my most streamed song of the year. One of my most.
Yeah,
I like
and
it a lot.
then we get to Opium Baby, which jeez. Talk about overstimulation.
People say it sounds like people say like if that song's playing on like a TikTok or something, people are surprised it isn't edited because it's just Swamp Izzo spamming the soundboard, and then you just have like gunshots and just
Yeah.
it just sounds like some sort of TikTok edit song.
Yeah, exactly. And
Twin
then-
Trim, which is just a Lil Uzi song.
Yeah, it's okay. I want to move on.
I like
from that.
I like the beat a lot on
Yeah.
that song.
Then like Wheezy, which is probably one of my favorite songs here. I
Yeah.
think like the beat is so good.
Yeah, the beat is definitely interesting, and people say it sounds like the last day of school, which I kind of agree with.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I think like the next two songs, this one Got It and Walk are just kind of mediocre. They're like fine. Hood by Air, I think is a good song, but I mean it's from like the IG Reels era. Then Overly, I think is just kind of mediocre. It didn't need to be there. And then South Atlanta Baby, I think is a great way to close the album. Like the instrumental's beautiful, and yeah.
Yeah, South Atlanta Baby. It was definitely a good song to end with. People say it's underrated. It still needs to grow on me a bit. I need to listen to it a few more times. I've listened to it like 3-4 times, but I think it's a good song, definitely.
Yeah, overall, I would say it's like a pretty satisfactory return for Carti.
What's your rating of the album?
8.
8 out of 10.
Yeah,
Same here. I think it's an 8 out of 10. People say it's like I mean Carti's worse. He has all of his projects I would say are good,
yeah,
but people are saying like it's like 0 out of 10, like a bunch of skips. I mean I feel like same thing for Whole Lot Red. Just like people first day obviously are gonna hate an album
yeah,
no matter what, and then people in 6 months are gonna say like, oh, it's actually a good album.
yeah.
I've been liking it since day one. So
Yeah, so that's the album, and it's broken records. It got streamed 100 million times in the first day, which is something only 5 artists have done before him. And yeah, this cements him as probably one of the leaders of this generation in terms of rap. So yeah, that's about it for us. I'm Demetrius,
I'm Cullen
and this has been Sound Waves.
on O Radio.
We put the O